Hello there.
Welcome to a special Sith List episode. We are going to be breaking down the Obi-Wan Kenobi trailer / teaser that we got. Now, we recorded an episode of the Sith List with special guest Nate Gunbarian from Bayside, the band. Also, thank the Maker Star Wars podcast, and Sal Perales, who is from the Rogue Rebels podcast. So if you enjoy this, please subscribe to our channel. We'd love to have you as a subscriber. There's crazy things coming out in 2022. Here we go. The Sith List crew with Sal and Nick breaking down that amazing Obi-Wan trailer.
Out of nowhere, man. You know, we got a Kenobi trailer,
Yes.
teaser trailer, and
Yes.
that pretty much stopped everything I had going on. Sorry to my employer for the several lost minutes of me watching that over and over again.
Oh, yeah.
And so what's everybody think?
I'll go with the guests first. Nick, I'll go with you, Sal.
Well,
You're
Randy
second.
still hasn't seen it, right?
Yeah, do you
Oh,
wanna
Randy
just
has to
watch
see it. Oh, hell yeah. Okay, let's do this. Here we go. Kenobi, Disney Plus. Let's get into it.
The fight is done. We lost.
Oh,
Stay hidden.
The key to hunting Jedi is patience. Jedi cannot help what they are. Their compassion leaves a trail. The Jedi Code is like an itch. He cannot help it. Where is he?
Randy, that was your first time seeing it, man. Tell us what you think.
It's cool. It's cool. I'm not blown away.
Okay.
I'm sorry, guys.
No, it's your opinion,
No,
buddy. You don't-
I was hoping to see more like Obi-Wan.
Yeah, I think they didn't show a lot of Obi-Wan and a lot of also Anakin, which
The
we're going to get a
Coruscant
lot
stuff
of.
is cool.
I don't think it's Coruscant.
What is it supposed to be?
Some other planet.
New planet. I
Daiyu.
think
There's a new
Daiyu or
planet.
Daiyu, yeah.
Yeah.
That's Tatooine, though, right? That's not just some
Yes.
other sand planet that looks.
No,
represent-
that is
Okay.
Tatooine.
Sure, if they were going.
It's the first
Well, I
time I
didn't know-
watched it with headphones on. Did you hear the Vader breath at
Yes.
the end?
Yeah,
Okay,
Vader
that
breath
was my
was-
first time hearing that.
Oh, yeah. That was cool. That was really
So
cool.
as soon as Duel of the Fates is introduced, man, it like my hair stood on end on my
Right.
arms, not my head. That would like break my neck. But that song is so metal. A long time ago for my Patreon show for the Bad Motivators, That's Metal, I did a comparison of like the Galactic Empire, the band, you know, that does the heavy metal
Mhm.
Star Wars stuff, compared and would fade in between that and the original orchestral versions of the songs. It's almost like it didn't get more metal when the drums and the guitars kicked in because it was already metal as hell. And so when you hear that fire in, oh, dude, it just sets the tone. And one of the things I think they did a good job of with this trailer, unlike a lot of the promotional stuff we've gotten for the other shows, is tell you what is the gist of the show. They're not going to have to burn up the whole first episode being like, these are Inquisitors, and blah, blah, blah. And so I feel like at least for once, we actually have some clue as to what's going on.
Yeah, that is true. I was surprised that they showed so many Inquisitors, to be honest with you. And was that the Grand Inquisitor that we know from the Rebels?
Yeah. There was a few familiar faces.
Wow. Okay, so let me ask you guys this. So this takes place before we see the Inquisitors in Rebels, correct?
For sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that means there is a possibility, and only saying this because of Dave Filoni, there is a possibility because the Inquisitors were not happy with Maul either, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a big possibility we get Maul in this thing and Crimson
Maul
Dawn, right?
Exists at this time. I don't know
Exists
about
at this time.
possibilities, but yeah.
Well, I'm just if Filoni's involved, there's a possibility.
I hope not, though, because I mean, a huge focal point of Maul's arc in Rebels was finding out that Kenobi was still alive, and having him appear in the series, that would just be so gratuitous at that point, and really serve no ultimate purpose besides being badass.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so I hope they don't do that.
I
hope they
agree.
stick with the story at hand.
I agree with you, Eric, totally, 100%. But what I think might happen is that those Inquisitors are not just after Kenobi they're after anybody that's Force sensitive. And they might be after Maul as well in a different planet or in a different area that he doesn't have to interact with Kenobi. And it's just fan service is what it would be.
Are you
You're right.
saying there's just like 2 whole episodes that are just about Maul instead?
Shots fired.
Yeah.
Shots blasted
It
across
happened.
the bow.
Very possible, Sal. Very possible.
It all
Very
lands up to the
fast.
finale.
Very dangerous.
So, Araj, man, tell us what you think. What are you thinking right now?
I'm thinking that the Inquisitor went on a keto diet before he went to Rebels. That's what I'm thinking. I'm sorry. I
I'm going to
apologize.
stop you right there. I just had to tell somebody, look, if we're going to start nitpicking on every middle-aged dude who's kind of let themselves go, that's
screwed.
really mean to my people. Okay.
My people too. My people too.
My
Right.
people are going to be out of work if this
I'm
is
totally
the
joking.
attitude
I
we're
was
gonna
being
take.
sarcastic because I saw a bunch of Instagram pictures that they compared animation with the real people, which annoys the shit out of me. Like, why does that have to be a thing? Like, they're not going to look exactly how they look on animation. So I said that as a joke.
Oh, I know, buddy.
But yeah, I liked it, man. I liked the feel of it. I love seeing Ewan McGregor, a little older, a little chiseled, with the beard. I love that, Owen's in it, and he seems like he's trying to protect Luke as well. Obviously, we didn't see other aspects that we've heard about. Obviously, Anakin's in it. There's going to be tons of flashbacks, I believe. So much more left, and this was a cool little teaser. It wasn't an official trailer; it was an official teaser. So we'll take it as that. Like I'm very excited about it, and I love the prequel stuff, man. When you hear the Duel of the Fates, it brings you right back to the prequels, man. And it's so fucking cool. It's so great. I am 100% down.
Let's hit the guests first. Nick, what was your
Yeah.
favorite moment from the trailer?
I mean, I think the Inquisitors for sure. I think we knew they were coming just because of concept art, but I loved that. That was my favorite part. And knowing what Lucasfilm does with these teasers and trailers, they leave the meat of the series out of the trailers usually. So considering that, we got so much in this, which means there's so much meat left. Like we didn't get Vader. We didn't get Anakin. We didn't get. I assume Ahsoka will be in an episode or a scene or something. So I'm just excited with how good that looked, knowing that their style of teaser trailers is here's some stuff to get excited about. There's so much more coming. So this was a lot, and there's so much more coming. So that's the overall excitement for me.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. I like looking at that. Now, Sal, you're a big Rebels guy, obviously.
Hell yeah.
How are you digging the Inquisitors, man?
I'm loving the Inquisitors. Like, that was a real big thing, but honestly, it feels so much more like trailer. Almost feels like Jedi Fallen Order in a weird way.
Yeah.
Like it like more than like obviously the Inquisitors are there, so like you think Rebels, but the Inquisitors are in a lot of stuff, dude. Not just Rebels. They're in comics. They show up in some of the books. So, like, kind of seeing them pop up here, it's not like a huge surprise, but it is pretty rad to see them in their like underwater fortress from Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah,
and
cool.
some of those like deeper cuts, like even the fifth brother, like who does show up in Rebels.
Mhm.
It's cool to see him rocking around. I hope we see the sixth brother because that dude just looks rad, and I just want to see what he looks like not in a comic book. He's like a ninja inquisitor.
Oh, cool.
But I don't know, like there was like no Kenobi in it, which is fine because like I got 6 movies of Kenobi. I know what Kenobi does. I know what Kenobi looks like. I've read plenty of Kenobi books. Seeing what Kenobi's going to be up against is a lot more exciting for me. Be like, okay, this might be why you might want to leave the planet.
Right.
Have you already started building the rotary lightsaber?
I wish.
That would be epic.
It's so uncivilized.
King Tom, what was your big takeaway from it?
My big takeaway is that two of the lines from dialogue. First, Obi-Wan's first line about having lost the war, and then we're guessing the Grand Inquisitor about how Jedi can't help but be themselves. Those are two very deep ideas that I'm glad we're going to be exploring. Because, Obi-Wan did lose. He's not just watching Luke, but he's in exile. He's hiding out. Right. And I really get the feeling that we're going to get, that part of the story. This is not going to be good old fun time Obi-Wan. Right. Obi-Wan's going through some stuff right now. And even though he's dealing with having, being one of the 2 survivors of the losing side of the Clone Wars, and by Clone Wars, I mean the war on the Jedi, he still has some stuff to do. He still has to be a Jedi. And I'm really looking forward to seeing that and seeing how they do that.
Now, let me ask you this. Did anybody grab this? Did it seem like, and I haven't watched, like, isolated the pieces of it enough, but did it seem like we got 2 ages of Kenobi in this? I felt like in the very last scene where they're up close on his face, it looks a little more Ewan's actual age, I guess.
Yeah, well, let's check it out. You mean the very last scene?
The very last images of him.
Okay, let's go
at
back.
One point when they show him. So
interesting. There's this one. This is the very last image of him. Oh, hey. There you go. Yeah, you might have a point, Eric.
Show us another shot of him where he potentially looks younger.
He's not in a lot of it, so
go to that on the wagon. The
I'm gonna
look at this one.
There he looks the same because
he looks the same.
His beard looks thinner here.
The lines around his eyes.
He got a new trimmer, King Tom. It's just let's go to the wagon scene. Okay. Did they show a close up of him?
It's hard. It's really hard to tell.
Well, let's look.
Help what they are. Their compassion, they are.
No, I think they just show him as a side view. But we do have some stills of him. Let's go to this one. He seems kind of the same, and that one he seems kind of the same. Now, I think he's the same age in all of this.
I like his new little outfit that's very similar to his other outfit, but I like the stitching on that. Like it's like almost a V-neck. He got like a real cool style V-neck.
Looks like a reverse hood.
Yeah, it's like a V-neck where you changed your mind after the fact.
Yeah, no, I dig that.
For the listeners, we're looking at the Entertainment Weekly picture of him against the wall, like sneaking in. Him and Geode.
Yep,
I was going to say that's a great.
Yeah, it's their prom picture.
Yeah, he's hugging Geode. That's really cool.
Prom picture.
I feel like those pictures coming out like an hour before the trailer was the biggest fake out ever.
Oh, it really was.
I
It
was
really
just like,
was.
oh, we got something cool today. Nice. And then the trailer came out an hour later.
Exactly. That's exactly what I thought. And they so much so as if I would have known, I would have just stayed home. I wouldn't have gone to work because it was such a mess to watch it at work. Gosh, darn it.
Every time they release pictures, you're going to call in now.
Yeah. Anytime we release anything, I'm done.
So, Les, how did you feel about like seeing the new planet?
I like the look of the new planet. I like anytime we get new planets in Star Wars, it's obviously a good thing because you get to see what someone's vision is for those planets and actually see something hopefully from everything else we already know. I'm going to be honest. I'm really interested in Inquisitor Reva and what she's going to do. I'm just hoping. I'm sure she's going to get killed. I'm sure Obi-Wan is going to finish her in beautiful but brutal fashion. but I really need more of this in Star Wars.
I love her outfit, by the way.
Love that,
And the
leather
hair work,
armor.
Yeah.
Her hair's
hair-
banging, man.
the hair
Yeah.
alone. Somebody came in there and they're like, no, we're gonna make sure we do this right.
Huh.
And they put it down. I mean, she's even got the like straight razor in the back. Her hair is like the fade is straight razored in the back. I love it. They paid some great attention to detail. And then another thing, real quick, I said earlier, I love the fact that we get Luke as a little kid, and he's just whatever it is. He's pod racing out or whatever
He
playing,
is pod racing out,
He's
man.
playing something in that like virtual, like his little Samsung Galaxy virtual. And
I'm sorry, buddy. Let me go back to it. Let's
Yeah.
watch it. Let's watch it. He's definitely. I mean, he's got to be pod racing, right?
and he's just a kid, man. He's just doing his kid thing, like all of us when we saw
we
Star
go.
Wars and stuff. You know, it's just that's the part I like too.
Look at him here. He's like the pod race is this
Yeah.
part up forward. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Now,
that's
Boo,
right.
you're out of all of us, you're the closest in age to young Luke in that trailer. Did that speak to you, man? I mean, you're the closest thing to a prequel kid we have on the show.
That's true. You grew up with the prequels.
I did. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, you see the innocence of him. He's just a kid, purely 100% just a kid growing up. He's playing, or he has an imaginary race going on. Stuff like that. He doesn't seem like he has much to play with or many friends around or something like that. And yeah, he's just a pure 100% kid, and it hurts to know. Yeah, in a few years, your life ain't gonna be that hot. It's gonna get a little tough. A lot of tough decisions, and some you're gonna lose something. You're gonna find out some bad news, and some tough decisions are gonna have to be made and things like that. But yeah, no, I think it's incredible to see, because you forget that aspect. You forget that aspect of he's just a kid. Even when we see him, he might be I think he was 20 or 19 or something like that when we actually see him. He's still a young man. So and then he gets thrown into this world of kind of shittiness to start off, and then he starts making it better and realizing more about himself. So yeah, he's just a kid.
So one thing, I mean, Boo, you kind of hit on it, and I guess I've never really considered it in this fashion that he is completely oblivious in a very protected way of the reality of his life at this point. But everybody else knows that's in contact with him directly. And man, what a trip that must be.
That's crazy, isn't
to
it?
have that exposed at the end, to find out that it's kind of like the kids on Ozark.
Yeah,
finding out that their parents, your whole life has been a lie.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a scene, man.
Do you think that we'll see Luke and Obi-Wan meet for the first time? Or do you think that at the beginning of the series they already have met?
I think they will meet for the first time.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
but
I
it
hope
won't be
so.
that type of like meeting. It'll be him
Selling
saving
something.
him or pushing him out of the way
right.
or drawing a distraction, and there's like eye contact possibly, because an actual like, hey Luke, this is Obi-Wan. I don't think that's gonna happen.
Well, I
There's
remember
gonna
that.
be-
And King Tom, I don't know if you remember this, but the radio dramas that came out, there were scenes of Obi-Wan and Luke meeting multiple times, and Obi-Wan saving Luke in Beggar's Canyon and in different situations, which were really cool.
Yeah, they also in the new canon comics, they've encountered each other.
Okay.
Yeah, they did 3 issues featuring like from the journals of Obi-Wan, where Luke was reading Obi-Wan's journals, and each time, either Luke or Owen was involved in that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. There's a really cool one in there where like most of them are just, Luke's a kid and he's finding his way into some mischief and he gets saved. And then sometimes the stakes get even bigger. But there's one that's like really simple and really like, I kind of want to see not only Luke maybe possibly interacting with Obi-Wan, but really the Owen and Obi-Wan thing, because we know, like from A New Hope, we know that he's got no love for Obi-Wan. And in those issues, there's like an issue where like it always seems to me like it's so much of the danger of him becoming his father and like that sort of life that like they blame him for. But I'm always curious as to like, well, what happened? Like, did something happen so close? Like, and then they're like, no, you put him in danger simply by being here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there.
Was always kind of like my thought of it, which seems like that could be something that happens. But there's like one particular story where, you know, like he kind of follows them to Mos Eisley because they're going to get supplies or whatever. And I think like Luke is like, he asks for something like either a toy or a part for, you know, a part to make his little speeder work or something like that. And Owen's like, nah. And then like Obi-Wan gets it and like sort of leaves it at the house. And like Luke finds it and he's like, oh, you know, thanks so much. To Owen, you know, not knowing that, of course, it's like Kenobi that dropped it off. And then Owen shows up at like Kenobi's house later that night. Like by this time he's got the hut and he's like, I don't need your charity. I don't need your bull. I don't need any, you stay away from us and our family, whatever, you know. And it's like he gets in his face about it. And I really want to see the start of whatever happens, like whatever their differing thoughts are. I know they're both trying to protect Luke in their own way, but what is it that makes Owen think that Ben is dangerous?
Right.
And this might be it. Bringing Inquisitors to Tatooine
Yeah.
is pretty dangerous.
Yeah, that's probably it.
There is one where Black Chrysanthemum kidnaps Owen and Obi-Wan has to fight him off.
Yeah.
Oh,
He gives him the scar.
he gives him the scar. That's right. That's right.
Mhm.
That's
While showing off his new boots. There's like really good art in that issue. And
Yeah.
There's like one panel where he's just standing with his like leg up and boots out, real Superman.
Oh, I like it.
Is that the one where Luke comes in on the speeder at the end?
It might be.
Or is that
I don't know.
another one?
There's like, yeah, like you said, there's like 3 or 4 issues of those stories. And I think they're all by the same artist.
Yeah.
There's. Oh, go ahead, Eric.
Is Reva an already established character in any other form, or is this new?
No,
I don't think
New,
so.
brand new.
brand new.
I
Brand
really
new.
want to see her have some sort of cool mask or Inquisitor. Like all the Inquisitors have a mask or helmet or something.
Mhm.
So I hope
I
she has
think she
something
does.
too.
I think she does, but she also takes it off for most of the deal. So,
which is cool.
that's the Jedi. If we look at the trailer again, when she flashes her lightsaber, I think that's the Jedi that we see the hanging boots.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Oh,
she's
that's
cutting
a
that
Jedi.
off. And,
Oh.
One's
Well,
I think
well,
we see their boots.
Well, here's the thing. I was going to ask you guys about the intro where Obi-Wan says what he says. So he's obviously talking to another Jedi because he says stay hidden. He's not talking to Luke. So if we watch this again and listen to what he's saying.
The fight is done. We lost. Stay hidden.
There you go. Stay hidden.
There's a lot of echo on that though.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
there
feel like
is.
the
Not-
first
not the
2
hidden,
was
though.
very clean and echoey, and the third one wasn't as much. So I
That's
wonder
right.
if that's some
Yeah, very well.
splicing of 2 different
Could be.
dialogues.
Yeah,
The possibility always exists that he's talking to Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And then the other idea, if
you're
he's
right.
writing the journals of Obi-Wan Kenobi, he could still kind of be talking about himself, about
and
Luke,
third
you know,
person.
like, hey, we need to stay down. We need
Like
to stay hidden.
narrating what he's writing.
Yeah.
Ah, okay.
That would be an
Good
interesting
point.
twist.
Good point.
Do we see the perfection of Force ghosts in this?
Yes. We will
mean,
see
we could.
Qui-Gon.
See instead of just being able to, like, you know how Yoda mentioned it, right? And he's like, I've been talking to someone, you know, and then Obi-Wan figures it out like Qui-Gon. Do we might have a chance to see something like that where we see the evolution of just the communication to now an actual manifestation of a Force ghost?
Yeah. I have a
Yeah,
feeling we're
I
going
would
to see
like to.
Qui-Gon. I have a feeling we're going to see Yoda.
Yep.
There's only 3 people that know. Two other people that know Kenobi's there, correct?
Mm-hmm. I mean,
And that's
Bail-
Yoda and Bail.
Mhm.
And I think we're going to see both of them.
I mean, he could also just be talking to that Jedi that Reva is going to kill.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. The Jedi
Seeing
might have found
Bail-
Obi-Wan and said, get the hell out of here.
If we're seeing Bail, we're getting Leia. So
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's so much.
If
There's so
we-
much.
Same
Yeah.
age as Luke. Pod
Same
racing.
age as Luke. Yep.
Like Nick said, there's still a lot of meat. There's just a ton
Yeah.
of meat. They haven't. Yeah.
Well, and we obviously go off planet. So obviously something's going to happen.
No, and we already know that when it's time to send it, you know, unlike Marvel, like I said before, Star Wars sends it. Like when it's time to like drop shit on people, they're bringing it full speed. They're not going to. So whatever may be rumored to be seen or not even leaked, but comes out, just be prepared for like the full Monty for sure.
Those two lines at the beginning of that you were talking about in the dialogue, it's the very last one, "Stay hidden," sounded very close, Mike.
Very close.
Stay hidden. And so the
Yeah.
other two were ambient, like he's in a room talking to somebody.
Yeah.
So that last one may have been that
From another scene.
Yeah. One thing, man, that's been tough is I am really trying to go into this as rumor / spoiler free as possible. And because of like everybody's been so starved for news, the spoiler cycle for this has just been like megaphone out there. And I think there's so many things, there's so much potential that in the series. One thing I really hope, and I haven't seen this announced anywhere, is I hope the episode runtimes are long as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's only going to be, Randy, there's only going to be 6, right? Is that what we heard?
That's correct, yeah.
6. Huh.
That's Hawkeye, right?
Hour and 15 minutes. Hopefully.
Yeah, but Hawkeye was all over the place. We had a 42-minute one, and then we had an hour and 10-minute one. So I hope they're all hour.
Yeah, I think it's going to be whatever. You know what I mean? I think their episodes are going to be as long as they need to be to tell whatever that chunk is. But is it the same? Who's writing? Is it Deborah Chow?
They said the
there's two.
Entertainment article had some the guy's name, and it's like Chow, and I guess this guy's the main writer.
Yeah, and and Deborah Chow wanted to thank Lucas for casting Edgerton, and because she said he's been a delight. And one thing that might be consistent with the runtime is because we're going to have the same director throughout every single episode, which is going to probably have some consistency that we haven't had with the Mandalorian Book of Boba Fett.
Right. King Tom was talking earlier about like the beginning and about his mindset and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I really like how much that lines up with like where we've seen him in later places, like including Star Wars Rebels. Like when he tells Maul, he tells him that Luke is the chosen one. Cause like that's where he's at that point. Like he doesn't believe, he believes he failed with Anakin. So he's trying again, you know, with this new plan.
Right.
So I really, really dig that. And I like how that lines up with like a lot of the stuff that we've seen out there. Including there's some really cool little mini stories and from a certain point of view. And it's like him communing with Qui-Gon, like it's kind of like, if I'm not mistaken, it's like when Luke goes off to like see his whole home burn down. And that's like the last time that Ben talks with Qui-Gon. And Qui-Gon knows what's going to happen. But, you know, he's like, time works so differently for you. You know, but...
Oh, interesting.
Qui-Gon is able to like become his body again.
Yeah.
His body just forms out of nothing.
What? Is that was in Master and Apprentice?
In Master and Apprentice short story From a Certain Point of View.
Oh, okay.
By Claudia Gray, right?
By Claudia Gray, yeah.
Yeah.
She's awesome.
Yes.
And then there's another one where Qui-Gon is like talking with Yoda. Yoda's just hanging out in his hut, and Obi-Wan appears, during all of this.
Was Yoda eating fluorescent green porridge? Because he likes that stuff.
Well, okay, there's that one too, but there's one in The Empire Strikes Back. Is it The Empire Strikes Back? No, maybe not. There's one where Obi-Wan comes to Yoda, and he's like, okay, it's time. Like, we're going to train the kid. And Yoda's like, cool. I cannot wait to train her.
Yeah.
And then Obi-Wan's like, hold up. I think we should train Luke. And Yoda is like, why though?
Wow.
You are so ridiculous.
That's funny.
Clearly Leia is the one.
That's cool. That's cool though.
A really good story.
I like that.
Damn. What we could have had, I think.
Just them arguing about it. And Kenobi's like, no. I saw him growing up on Tatooine. You should have seen him pretend to pod race, bro.
Yeah.
He is ready.
We know that guy.
So ready.
No, but we know that guy.
I had to save that kid's ass multiple times.
How do you,
dude? Pretty sure
anybody have any minuses from the trailer at all?
Randy, go ahead, buddy.
Well, I don't have any.
I love how you.
I love how that. Like as soon as I heard that question, I was like, "Oh, this is targeted at me." No, I don't have any minuses. I'm just not blown away.
Right. I could see that.
I like it has that Jedi Fallen Order vibe that I really like. I like that trying to like hide in plain sight thing that they did in Fallen Order. But I just I just need more. I'm really excited for the show. Just the trailer doesn't like sell me. I'm like, oh my gosh, the hype is real.
Did I tell you guys that I watched with Malik, but he was playing or messing around, but I watched the entire Fallen Order game played on YouTube and all the cutscenes and somebody playing it and beating it. So it was an absolute delight, man. It was like I was watching a movie. And I don't have time to play it, but fuck, that game is so cool.
Dude, that game is so rad.
It's so rad. I wish I had time
to
play
get a chance to play it. I definitely recommend
Yeah.
it. The mechanics are great. The story's good. I think that may have been the first game that I 100%ed all of the Xbox achievements on, even the
Oh,
stupid
that's so
ones.
cool.
It was pretty annoying.
God,
What's that?
and the cutscenes are so cinematic. They're beautiful, man.
Yeah,
It's a movie.
Yeah.
It's a movie.
It is
Yeah.
great. It's
And
a lot of fun.
the story is so well done. Like the Inquisitor in that game is really dope. Like
Mhm.
the little crew that they make, Cal Kestis and the Seer Junda. Like one of my favorite Star Wars, like a lot of Star Wars has really, really cool moments. And one of the things that sticks with me from that game is there's a quote from Seer Junda where she says something like, we will always struggle, but that's what makes us who we are. Like that's what makes us Jedi or something like that. But I probably just
That's our motto with the Sith List every episode.
But we will always struggle. But
We always
will
struggle.
continue.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you guys feel about because Tamara Morrison's around, and is there Cody involved or any other clone at some point?
That's what I was going to say that too.
Why not,
and,
right?
and Ahsoka's around, and Sabine's around.
Yeah,
Sabine's probably
not
like
around.
Ahsoka's not around.
Nope.
What do you mean
Sabine's
she's
probably
not
like 12.
Oh wait, yeah, she.
No,
Yeah,
she is.
No,
You're right.
yeah,
Yeah.
Ahsoka's around. And Sabine's a little older than that, and they're going to a planet where there's all kinds of graffiti on the walls and all that. So the first thing I thought it was Sabine, but
you're
Ahsoka
talking
would
about
be pretty
clones.
younger than we've seen her. So I don't know.
Yes,
if it
she would be
with
younger. Yes.
Rosario.
yes,
What'd you say about the clones in
Yeah,
some
yeah.
of the comics? Some of the Death Troopers or I'm sorry, not Death Troopers, the Purge Troopers.
Mhm.
Because sometimes the Inquisitors roll with those Purge Troopers
Mhm.
because they're like specifically geared to hunt Jedi.
okay.
Some of those
Okay.
are clones,
Mhm.
at least in the Vader comics.
Yeah.
And that could end up
Interesting.
really interesting.
And just being that it's Kenobi, I mean, Cody makes sense to be around. I don't know. I don't know if
God,
there's any
that'd be
story
crazy.
in comics or novels anywhere, but what he went on to be for the Empire or whatever. But if he's around, I mean, you have Tamora already involved with other things, so why not?
The
I mean-
showdown would be like, well, hello there, dick.
Hello there.
Cody
Oh
just
my
shows him
gosh.
back his lightsaber. So you drop this. Also, we're going to shoot you.
Yeah, take it before I shoot you.
I'm just going to say it. Like, Voss is friends with Kenobi. Why don't you,
Voss?
if you're just going to have peeps just showing up and
Right.
hanging out, why don't you just go hang out with your old boy?
Not only that, Sal, but recently they had a little bio on Voss on StarWars.com.
Yep.
And they specifically at the end said, we don't know really what happened to him. And we talked about this, King Tom, remember? Like, there's always a reason behind these things. That would be super cool. They should have called you, Sal.
I'm waiting.
Yeah, I was waiting for
Hello?
live action Aladdin. That never worked out.
Hello.
Nick, you're probably next in line.
Well, any last parting shots on this? Anybody?
What is Kenobi's occupation on Tatooine?
Right. He looks like he's just walking around. He's not a
Crazy
real,
old wizard.
he's not like a straight hermit. Like, I'm glad.
Cave
That's one thing I'm glad
gentleman.
about. Yeah. Cave gentleman.
Yeah,
Yeah, great
he has a
question.
house. He's able to take the open air bus. He's got to eat. He's got to do stuff. So I'm like,
Jedi
what does he
mind tricks
do?
his way around.
Yeah.
He needs some socks though. You see, this poor guy doesn't have socks. Like he's like chilling. He's in the back
Oh,
cave.
no. That's a no shoes allowed cave.
Yeah,
Oh
really.
yes,
He
right.
likes to keep it clean. Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah,
You don't wanna
good
bring
question.
any dirt into the dirt.
Boo, I was thinking about that because I always thought that he was like a crazy old hermit, right? And that they didn't want anybody to see him, just was protecting Luke. But he's amongst the people. He's the walk, doing his thing.
He goes into town for
Takes the
something,
bus.
some stuff. Yeah.
I do
wonder
have
if
a
he gets-
question. I know this
gets
is
a
not my
drink at the cantina.
podcast, but I would like
Hey,
to
please.
ask you guys a question. Do you care at all about them giving an answer or a reason as to why, whatever, 10 years after this, he looks so shot and Vader looks so shot? Like, in A New Hope, there's a reason, like, in 1977, the choreography of lightsaber battles is what it is then.
Right.
So, do you care about what happens after, at the end of this series? Do you want an explanation as to why Kenobi looks the way he does and Vader is shot in A New Hope? Because I don't care, but I think that there could be some really good stuff as to why.
Oh, I
They
see.
don't have to, they wouldn't ruin it for me if they didn't explain why he looks a certain way, why Vader is seemingly older and shot. Like, that doesn't bother me, but there could be a cool storyline there.
Right.
If it was super cool, because I feel like if it's, well, this will shut him up, that I don't want that.
Yeah.
Because I don't need an explanation. I know the real
Same.
world explanation.
Yeah,
and they had
exactly.
Tons of deviations in the prequels from what, I mean, you can explain anything
Mhm.
away. You know, like my whole thing is, if you watched the prequels first and then the original trilogy with no point of reference, right? That's how you started. You wouldn't say, well, why did Obi-Wan not remember owning a droid? Because if you watch his facial expressions in it, you could easily interpret that as, you little blue dick. We agreed we wouldn't say anything. Why are you here? What did you tell him?
Mhm.
But I mean, the reality is that you had a much older man playing Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I hope they just leave it like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
The only answer that I would accept is, they've talked about it's the rematch of the century.
Yeah. I've
Is
gone
that-
into that a little bit on our podcast. I do have a cool thing in my head, but
Is
Well,
if they
I thought about that too today.
wound each other during that.
There's something about Vader not being able to use Force lightning because of his suit, and I wonder if we see him try, and that screws him up, and also Obi-Wan. That's my, like, if they're gonna explain it, I think that
That's a
there's a
good one.
really
That's kinda
cool
cool.
way for this to end, where, because think about when Palpatine got Force lightning, he physically changed. So what if Vader tries it, not knowing what the Force lightning is doing to him because of his suit? So that way, Obi-Wan maybe ages a little bit by the end of this because of the Force lightning, and Vader's screwed up because he can't have Force lightning in his suit.
Interesting.
There's a line in the Darth Plagueis novel that, like, Force lightning does not debilitate the target so much as the person who uses it.
Interesting.
I know, Eric. I know.
King Tom always brings up this book, and Eric always gets pissed off.
There's a line in the Darth Plagueis novel that said it was the worst of times. It was the worst of times, and that was the first line and the last line of the book.
I always felt like I like the idea, like, in Rebels, when Maul is like, "Look at you, like you're just you're just stuck here," and he's like,
Mhm.
"No, look what I've grown above. Look what
Yeah,
I've
that's
risen
right.
above." Like
Look
the
what I've risen
idea
above.
that he's on his way to becoming that guy,
Yeah.
and that's why he's not like spinning around and doing 17 backflips.
Yep.
And he's just like, "Nah, boop boop, dead."
Yeah.
Boo boo.
Yeah.
I hope he's on his way to becoming Shogun Assassin in this movie, and like two moving people.
Yep.
That was a beautiful shot.
I like that idea of, and like that's sort of my like in-universe explanation, like why they fight like that,
Yeah.
and they're no longer like front flip, back flip, balance on
Yeah.
a balance beam. Okay, let me jump 3 stories. Aha!
Yeah.
Now, Sal, you're a huge Rebels guy. Obviously, I've watched every episode of Rebels, and my whole thing about that scene, which I loved, and I thought it was a beautiful scene. I just thought they should have held back and not done it for this particular reason. Having that in live action, to see it in this show would have been fucking amazing. But who knows what they didn't even know if they were going to do an Obi-Wan show at that time. And it was so beautifully done. So I just wish we had an opportunity. I know, and Eric, and I know you have that theory of seeing things from different lights and different views.
Well, but here's the thing too. They could do a shot for shot remake of the animation in live action. And 80% of the people who would see it in live action would have never even considered watching Rebels.
That's true.
And I think it could be very effective. And I think that for me personally, I loved it. I understand.
I did too.
People had a beef with it because, it should have been longer and more drawn out. But I thought it made it more badass. I've always been into Westerns. Yeah. And that was straight up Western
Better than Cad Bane.
It was their version of a shootout. Yeah.
Yeah. And because realistically, I've never been an MMA fighter. I've never been a boxer, but I have fought plenty of times, and fights never last very long because you're either
haven't you jumped 3 stories to go and catch the guy?
Typically, yeah, but it only takes me a second. Right, but I mean, seriously, fights are start and end in the span of a minute and a half. You know what I mean? And so for me, that didn't bother me. But I do think seeing it in live action may be a bit of a vindication for the people who didn't like it in animation, that seeing it happen with real people in real time, I think that might change their minds about it.
Right.
Like, especially if, like, Kenobi is going to go through this kind of, like, if we get anything about his sort of training and his acceptance of that, like, learning, like, almost like Yoda went on that Force quest. Like, of Kenobi truly rising above this despair. Like, his fighting evolving with him would be so dope. Like, if the first episode he's all sad and he's fighting people with 17 moves and doing the normal thing that he did, but angrier. And then by the last episodes, he's like, whoop, whoop, dead. Whoop, whoop, dead. Whoop, whoop, disappear.
I wonder if he's going to go on the kind of trip that Boba did, take some shrooms, walk around the desert.
Oh, man, if Kenobi was a Tusken too, rad.
He will, but it'll be purely recreational and serve no story purpose. And that's how we'll all relate to him.
Yeah,
I get that.
Right.
I get it.
Like, he just knows where the tree is. He just brings them sticks so they can make. He's like, all right, here you go. Like, hook me up with some water fruit.
You think you're thinking he'll get to the point of like what is that one where they just go they barely even shoot their kids out of like everybody drops dead.
That'd be the dopest.
He just flashes his lightsaber.
Well,
yeah.
The bottom line, we don't have long to wait. And obviously we're gonna get more stuff in between now and then. Do want to stay as unspoiled as possible personally, but still, every time there's some new thing out there, I'm going to want to consume it if it's official, so to speak. Especially seeing the visual. Reading about it's great, but seeing live action moving around in a trailer or whatever TV spot, would be very hard to resist that. I didn't realize how excited I was for this until the trailer was right there in front of us, and my reaction to it emotionally kind of surprised me, and a lot of it was because of the score of the trailer.
Definitely.
And all of the pieces that they used were great, but there's something about Duel of the Fates and that the logo blowing away and stuff.
Yes, with the sand.
Clap, 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 clap.
It was it was well done. I think the next one, the official trailer, you're going to see some clone troopers from flashbacks. I don't know if we'll see Anakin or Vader still, but we'll see more Obi-Wan, I would imagine.
I wonder if we'll see Vader, but not Anakin.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
That makes more sense.
Right.
To hide, like if you're going to hold something back, hold back the Anakin, but show us the Vader, because we already know.
Yeah, we already know Vader, That would be cool. That'd be really cool.
This fool over in the meeting room at the underwater castle, being like, it's so much cooler here than my castle.
yeah, he's going to come over.
It's just so messed up to think that they're going to have a conversation as Vader and Obi-Wan, but really it's going to sound like Anakin. Like, not like actually sound like, it's going to sound like Vader, but Obi-Wan will be talking to Anakin. That's messed up. That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's another thing I think like there's so many. So this is the show that I was like least excited for, because I was like, dude, I got 6 Kenobi movies. I got 2 books I read about Kenobi. I've read like 10 issues of Kenobi comics. I know about Kenobi. Let me see some fresh stuff like Book of Boba Fett, The Mandalorian. Like, but now that it's here, the possibilities, High Republic, of like what it could be. Even though I've seen so much of Kenobi's story there's still so many more pieces that we haven't seen, and a lot of them could fit right here. Like, clearly we're getting Inquisitors. Clearly we're getting young Luke, Owen, like those other relationships that I don't know how they got to where they are in A New Hope. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I'm just pissed off at him because he brought me a baby one day, man. Sick of it.
Right. He's like, what the hell?
19 years ago, this fool just shows up with an Eopie. My wife was all smiling. What am I supposed to do?
Okay, I don't know what to do with that.
I'm glad you said Eopie because I still didn't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, that damn Eopie. Will we see blue milk? That's the most important question. Will we see it?
Gosh,
Nope.
I sure hope so.
We're gonna find out how the milk got blue.
There it is. There it is, Randy. It's the evolution of the blue milk. That's a real. That's how they fill in the gaps. Lucasfilm.
Exactly,
Yeah.
Intense sadness. How it got blue.
There you have it, guys. We pretty much broke that thing down. We had a blast. And if you like what you heard, please subscribe. And also check us out on our podcast, The Sith List, wherever podcasts are enjoyed. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or any other podcast catcher that you have out there we should be on. And until next time, we'll see you right here on The Sith List.